Hello, hi. I would like you to introduce yourself and tell us what your research project was about and how you end up getting so good grade.
My research project was what principles affect aerofoils to bridges lift and why are there different opinions on which principle is correct. And my question is quite technical, so aerofoils are part of a wings plane, the cross-section, and the principles, they explain how lift is created by the wings.
Which is physics, basically.
Yeah, all physics. It's just entirely physics. And so this is my proposal. So what I wanted to do, my ethical considerations that I would have to think about and the capabilities that I would have to use. And below that is my action plan. So that's a short plan on what I hoped I would do each week, but I didn't really follow that.
That's very normal.
Yeah, very normal. And then next to that was my 2 mind maps. Instead of creating a lotus diagram, I decided to create 2 mind maps because they looked better and it was easier to understand. So then one was about my question, what I might have to explain, and the other was about the research processes that I would need to answer that question. And then next to that is my primary research, my interviews. The first interview was with a professor at a university, and the second was with an aeronautical engineering student. And I made sure that I didn't put their names in because they said they did not want their university or their names to be included in my project, so to follow ethical considerations. And next to that is my second primary research, the survey data. I did 2 surveys. One was with professors and people who knew about the topic, the technical background. And the second was with people who did not know as much, so who weren't in the profession of aeronautics. And I got the second one from a forum, a physics forum. So then I asked the people there if they could fill out my survey. And these are my secondary research. I devoted 1 page to this whole source because I found it really useful and I thought I would annotate it a lot, so then I would be able to use it in my outcome. And this is my source 2 and 3. These were important as well, but I found them not as good as my first source. So I analysed them, talking about the bias and the difficulty.
So this is the source analysis. Yes, we do.
Yeah. And the credibility and what it was about, so who it was written by. Then this is the annotated bibliography. So these were more sources, but from books, websites, article, video, and a Word document. So then it shows the wide variety of sources that I was able to utilise. And this is my capabilities reflection. So I did the critical and creative thinking capability and the literacy capability because I thought they would best suit my research, and the other capabilities weren't very
appropriate
for mine. And I wrote journal entries as I went along through my research, and this was an extract of it from my week 6, how I was going so far. And I annotated the journal as well, so then I talked about my abilities to summarise a week's worth of researching. And my outcome outline, what I wanted to write in my outcome, what I was planning to write, and the headings that I would use. This is my personal reflection, how I thought I went overall with my research, the challenges I faced, such as copyright and credibility, and my skills. So that's my folio, 10 pages.
And how you presented your findings?
My findings is in a report here. So they had headings, introduction, what is lift and what are airfoils. and I include diagrams to help the reader understand what I was talking about, since this is so technical. And I introduced lift aerofoils, and then I talked about Bernoulli's principle, which was one of the principles I was going to talk about. And I also explained Newton's laws over here. And Newton's third law, which was what I was hoping to explain along with Bernoulli's principle.
So what is Bernoulli's principle?
It consists of a few different things.
Forces?
Yes, I guess. And there's one here, it's called the Venturi, where pressure, it increases when the volume is smaller than when it is bigger.
Because all this air has to fit in that small.
Yeah, all the air has to fit in.
And then you try to use Newton's law?
Yeah.
So that was a very hard person for your reader to comprehend, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was quite difficult, hence the diagrams, and I tried to make it slightly easier,
With
but
your
I still
pictures.
didn't want to lower the quality of it, so... And then I talked about the argument, which I had in my question on why are there different opinions on which principle is correct. And I summarised the argument, the last paragraph, and in the conclusion, where both principles, Bernoulli's principle and Newton's third law, is correct, except people can choose to accept one or the other. It's just that they should understand that both are accurate. And since these are all the words were technical, I also included a glossary that explains some of the terms that I used.